Dark clouds swirl over ancient temples as thunder shatters the silence. Lightning reveals crumbling stone, remnants of a world where gods walked among mortals. Think you know Greek mythology? Think again. These are the stories whispered in hushed tones, revealing the darker side of the human condition. Join me as we journey back to ancient Greece to uncover the sinister secrets behind these timeless tales. Our journey begins in the shadowy corridors of ancient Greece, where the echoes of tragedy and betrayal still linger among the ruins. Here, beneath the crumbling stones and flickering torchlight, we find the origins of one of history's most infamous bloodlines, a family whose name became synonymous with doom. This is the House of Atrius, a dynasty marked by unspeakable acts, where each generation seemed destined to repeat the sins of their forebears. Their story is woven into the very fabric of Greek myth, a tapestry stained with betrayal, murder, and the relentless grip of a curse that would not let go. The tale begins with Tantalus, a favored mortal of the gods, who committed an unthinkable crime. In a moment of arrogance and madness, he killed his own son, Pelops, and served him as a gruesome feast to the gods, testing their omniscience and their mercy. The gods recoiled in horror, recognizing the terrible deed, and restored Pelops to life. But Tantalus's crime would not be forgotten. For this act of hubris, Tantalus was condemned to eternal torment in the underworld. He stands forever in a pool of water beneath a fruit tree, parched and starving, yet never able to drink or eat, a punishment as cruel as his own crime. His suffering became the first link in a chain of misery that would bind his descendants for generations. The curse did not end with Tantalus. It passed to his son Atreus, who, driven by jealousy and rage in a bitter feud with his brother Thyestes, committed an atrocity of his own. Atreus killed Thyestes' sons, and in a chilling echo of his father's crime, served them as a meal to their unsuspecting father. The cycle of vengeance and horror deepened, and the gods, appalled by such cruelty, cursed Atreus and all who would come after him. The skies themselves seemed to darken over the House of Atreus, as if the very heavens mourned the fate of this doomed family. The curse became a storm that raged through generations, each new act of violence feeding the darkness that clung to their name. Atreus' son, Agamemnon, inherited not only the throne, but the family's tragic legacy. In order to appease the goddess Artemis and secure favorable winds for his fleet to sail to Troy, Agamemnon made the ultimate sacrifice, his own daughter Iphigenia. The pain of this loss would haunt his family, sowing seeds of resentment and grief that would soon erupt into further bloodshed. When Agamemnon finally returned home from the long and brutal Trojan War, he was met not with celebration, but with treachery. His wife, Clytemnestra, consumed by anger over Iphigenia's death and her own bitterness, conspired with her lover to murder Agamemnon in cold blood. The cycle of violence continued, each act more desperate and tragic than the last. The burden of vengeance then fell to Orestes, Agamemnon's only son. Torn between love for his mother and duty to his father, Orestes faced an impossible choice. In the end, he avenged his father's murder by killing Clytemnestra, his own mother, plunging himself into a torment of guilt and madness. The curse, it seemed, demanded ever more blood. The House of Atreus became a symbol throughout the ancient world, a warning of the destructive power of vengeance and the inescapable grip of fate. Their family crest, once a mark of honor, now stood for ruin and sorrow, a lineage shattered by its own hand. Their story is a chilling reminder that the sins of the father are often visited upon the children, and that the wounds of the past can echo through the ages. Each generation bore the scars of those who came before, unable to break free from the cycle of violence and retribution. In the end, the cycle of violence consumed them all, leaving behind only ruins and a haunting legacy. The empty thrones and silent halls of their once great palace stand as a testament to the cost of pride, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of vengeance. Though the House of Atreus has long since vanished into the mists of history, their darkness endures, a warning to all who would let hatred and revenge rule their hearts. Now we turn to Heracles, the greatest hero of Greek myth, a figure whose name echoes through the ages. His story is one of unmatched strength, but also of deep tragedy and pain. Heracles stands as a symbol of what it means to be both powerful and vulnerable, a man whose life was shaped by forces beyond his control. Born of Zeus, king of the gods, and a mortal woman named Alcmene, Heracles was destined for greatness from the very start, yet his divine heritage was a double-edged sword. While it granted him extraordinary abilities, it also made him a target for the wrath of the gods, especially Hera, Zeus's jealous wife. Hera's hatred for Heracles was relentless. She saw in him a living reminder of her husband's betrayal, and so she plotted against him from the moment he was born. Her anger would shape the course of his life, driving him to the brink of madness. In a cruel twist of fate, Hera sent a fit of madness upon Heracles. In his confusion and rage, he committed an unthinkable act. He killed his beloved wife and children, the very family he cherished most. The horror of his actions would haunt him forever. Overwhelmed by guilt and grief, Heracles wandered the land, searching for a way to atone for his sins. He sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi, hoping for a path to redemption, a way to cleanse his soul of the darkness that had overtaken him. The Oracle's answer was harsh but clear. Heracles must undertake 12 impossible labors, each more daunting than the last. These tasks would test not only his physical strength but also his courage, endurance, and spirit. Only by completing them could he hope to find forgiveness. Heracles faced monsters that no other mortal dared to challenge. The Nemean lion, the Hydra, the Erymanthian boar. He journeyed to the edge of the world, even descending into the underworld itself. Each labor pushed him to his limits, forcing him to confront not just external threats, but the darkness within his own heart. His story is a warning, a reminder that even the strongest among us can be brought low by forces we cannot control. Madness, grief, and guilt can touch anyone, no matter how mighty. Redemption is possible, but the scars of tragedy never fully fade. Heracles' journey was one of pain and perseverance, a struggle to reclaim his honor and find peace with himself. In the end, Heracles teaches us that true strength is not just about physical power. It is about facing our own darkness, accepting our flaws, and striving to overcome them, no matter how heavy the burden. Even heroes are haunted by their past. The shadows of our mistakes may follow us, but they do not have to define us. In the end, the legend of Heracles is both a tale of triumph and a cautionary tragedy, a story that reminds us of the cost of greatness and the enduring hope of redemption. Next, we meet Medea, a sorceress whose name is forever linked to vengeance and heartbreak. Her story is one of passion, betrayal, and the devastating consequences of love gone wrong. In the annals of Greek myth, few figures are as complex or as tragic as Medea, whose very name conjures images of both power and pain. Medea, powerful and cunning, helped Jason win the Golden Fleece, betraying her own family for love. She was the daughter of King Aeetes of Colchis, a land shrouded in mystery and magic. When Jason and the Argonauts arrived, seeking the legendary fleece, it was Medea's knowledge of sorcery that made the impossible possible. She risked everything, her home, her heritage, and her future. Driven by a love so fierce, it eclipsed all else. She fled with Jason, became his wife, and bore him children. Together, they braved countless dangers, crossing seas and facing the wrath of gods and men. Medea's loyalty was unwavering. She sacrificed her own brother to ensure their escape, staining her hands with blood for the man she adored. In a foreign land, she built a new life, believing her devotion would be rewarded. But Jason's ambition led him to abandon Medea for another woman, Glauce, daughter of King Creon. The promise of power and a royal alliance proved too tempting, and Jason cast aside the woman who had given him everything. Medea, once cherished, was now scorned, her love repaid with betrayal. The halls that once echoed with laughter now rang with sorrow and rage. Medea's grief turned to fury. The pain of rejection burned within her, transforming her love into something dark and unrecognizable. She was not just a woman wronged, she was a mother, a wife, and a sorceress whose heart had been shattered. The world that had once seemed full of promise now felt cold and hostile. She plotted a revenge as devastating as her betrayal. Medea's mind, once filled with dreams of happiness, now turned to thoughts of retribution. She called upon her arcane knowledge, crafting a plan that would strike at the very heart of those who had wronged her. Her magic, once a tool for love, became an instrument of vengeance. Using her magic, Medea sent Glauce a poisoned robe and coronet, gifts that killed her and her father. The gifts, beautiful and deadly, were tokens of destruction. As Glauce donned the robe, flames consumed her, and King Creon perished in his attempt to save his daughter. The palace was thrown into chaos, and Medea's wrath was felt by all. But Medea's vengeance didn't end there. The pain Jason had caused her demanded a price greater than the lives of his new bride and her father. Medea's thoughts turned to the ultimate act of retribution, one that would leave Jason utterly broken. To make Jason truly suffer, she killed their own children, leaving him with nothing but loss. This act, unthinkable to most, was Medea's final, terrible answer to betrayal. Her love for her children was real, but her pain was greater. In her mind, it was the only way to ensure Jason would feel the depth of her anguish, a wound that would never heal. Jason, broken and alone, realized too late the cost of his betrayal. The man who had once been hailed as a hero was left with nothing but memories and regret. The echoes of his choices haunted him, and the world he had sought to conquer now seemed empty and cold. Medea vanished, her name forever a warning of the power of a scorned woman. Some say she fled to Athens, others that she disappeared into the mists of legend. Her fate as mysterious as her magic, but her story endured, whispered in the shadows and retold for generations. Her story is a stark reminder: love and hate are two sides of the same coin. The passion that binds can also destroy, and the line between devotion and destruction is perilously thin. Medea's tale forces us to confront the darkness that can lurk within the human heart. Betrayal can unleash unimaginable darkness. In the world of Greek myth, the gods themselves were not immune to jealousy and revenge, and mortals who crossed these lines often paid the highest price. Medea's actions, though monstrous, were born from wounds that festered in the absence of justice. Medea's actions were monstrous, but born from pain and loss. She was both a victim and a villain, her choices shaped by the cruelty of those around her. Her tears, her rage, and her magic all sprang from the same well of suffering, a suffering that demanded to be seen. She became both victim and villain, her legacy echoing through time. Statues and stories preserve her memory, a reminder that the line between hero and monster is often blurred. Medea's name became a symbol, not just of vengeance, but of the consequences of broken trust. The tale of Medea warns us: never underestimate the fury of a mother wronged. Her love for her children was fierce, but her sense of betrayal was fiercer still. In her, we see the terrifying strength that can arise when a mother is pushed beyond her limits. In Greek myth, vengeance is never simple, and always leaves scars. The wounds Medea inflicted were not just physical, but emotional and spiritual, rippling through generations. Her story is a cautionary tale about the cost of revenge and the dangers of unchecked passion. Medea's magic was her weapon, but her heartbreak was her curse. She wielded power that few could match, yet she was ultimately undone by her own emotions. Her spells could bend reality, but they could not heal her wounded soul. Her story endures as a chilling testament to the destructive power of love turned to hate. The ruins of her life, like the ruins of ancient cities, stand as silent witnesses to the devastation wrought by passion unchecked. In the end, Medea's revenge consumed everything, including herself. The fire she unleashed spared no one, not even the one who lit the spark. Her triumph was hollow, her victory steeped in sorrow. The shadows of her choices linger, a dark lesson from the ancient world. Medea's tale is a haunting reminder that love, when betrayed, can become the most dangerous force of all. Prometheus, the titan who defied Zeus, gave fire to humanity, an act of rebellion that changed the world. He saw human potential and risked everything to help mortals rise from darkness. Zeus, enraged, punished Prometheus with endless torment, chained to a rock, his liver devoured daily by an eagle. Yet Prometheus never broke. His suffering became a symbol of resistance and hope. The tale is a powerful allegory. Challenging authority comes at a cost. Prometheus's pain inspired mortals to endure and to dream. His defiance lit the spark of progress, even as he paid the ultimate price. The story reminds us, true change demands sacrifice. Prometheus's legacy is one of courage, pain, and unyielding hope. Even in chains, he proved the spirit can never be fully broken. Finally, we confront Cronis, the Titan king who devoured his own children to escape a prophecy. Cronis overthrew his father Uranus, only to be consumed by fear of his own downfall. To prevent the prophecy, he swallowed each child at birth. Rhea, desperate, saved Zeus by hiding him and tricking Cronis with a stone. Zeus grew strong, returned, and forced Cronis to release his siblings. The Olympians overthrew Cronis, ending his reign of terror. Cronis's story is a warning. Power built on fear and violence leads only to ruin. The sins of the father haunted his children, but they broke the cycle. Cronis's legacy is a chilling reminder of the cost of unchecked ambition. In the end, even the mightiest can fall to the darkness within. The myths of ancient Greece reveal the timeless struggles of love, loss, and vengeance. Even gods and heroes are flawed, capable of great deeds and terrible cruelty. Which myth haunted you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling legends.